With the PlayStation Portal having just crossed the 6-month mark since launch November last year, it's safe to say the gaming community desired more, ranging from being able to consume media, browse the internet, play games without worrying about internet connectivity, as well as the need to have your console on in order to play any games. In that 6-month period, I scoured the internet for the best ways to improve your PlayStation Portal experience, and after doing some extensive digging, here are 10 plus tips and tricks for the ultimate PlayStation Portal experience. Buckle up and let's go for the ride. Getting into it, if you haven't updated your Portal already, a few weeks back Sony released update 2.0.6 and according to their patch notes, the new update will improve the system software performance and overall stability of the Portal. Mine is already updated, but for those who don't know how to go about it, simply swipe to the right then go to settings, after which you'll tap on system, then update software, and it will start the software update process. How long it takes to update depends on how fast your internet is, but on average it's in the ballpark of 5 to 10 minutes. With the new update up and running, I tried a few games to check if the micro starter issue had disappeared, and after a few trials the gameplay in general felt a lot smoother and the haptic feedback was also better. As always, just to make sure I wasn't alone, I jumped into the weeds of Reddit to see if any other PlayStation Portal users had noticed any difference, and from my digging, a decent amount of people noticed the difference apart from a few who reported no changes at all. Speaking of no changes at all to the gameplay, wireless internet connection to your console could be playing a part in that, hence the reason why I recommend connecting your PS5 to the internet via an Ethernet cable, as it offers a more stable connection compared to Wi-Fi connection. Now, another question you're about to ask is, what if my router is in another room? I had the same issue since my router connection point is in my closet, but say no more. There's a few ways you can go about it. One is, if you've got a Wi-Fi mesh system to cover dead zones in your house like me, each node usually has an Ethernet port which you can plug in an Ethernet cable and connect to your console. Another way is through Wi-Fi repeaters which have an Ethernet port, and this is the one I'd recommend since it's a lot more cost effective. With your console connected via Ethernet, your overall gameplay and navigation through the Portal interface is going to be a lot smoother compared to when you use Wi-Fi. Speaking of which, unplugging the HDMI cable from your console if you don't intend to use your TV will also add to the smoothness of your user experience, and if you want to take it a notch higher, disabling HDCP, which stands for High Definition Copyright Protection, will guarantee you that, and here's why. As mentioned just a second ago, HDCP stands for High Definition Copyright Protection, and enabling it ensures PlayStation content is protected from piracy by preventing copying of digital video and audio streams as they are transmitted between devices. Now, I know this has got you thinking, since when did preventing piracy become a bad thing? Well, on the one side, it's actually a good thing, but unfortunately, this defensive mechanism has a negative effect on gaming in the sense that it just adds enough input lag to tamper with the overall gaming experience. That being said, since we are on the better performance train, we'll shift our gears from ruining the experience to the good side, and the next one is as obvious as it sounds. Simply setting your console to performance mode, and for those who don't know what that does, your console will now prefer a higher frame rate provided the game you're playing supports it over graphical fidelity, and this ensures buttery smooth gameplay on your PlayStation Portal. Having just talked about buttery smooth gameplay, we might as well talk about the other buttery that's pronounced the same way. I mean, buttery smooth, buttery hell. Let me know if there's a difference. Anyway, the PlayStation's Portal battery lasts anywhere between 5 to 8 hours depending on use, and just like any device with a screen, reducing the screen brightness helps the battery to last a bit longer. For those who don't know how to do that, simply swipe left from the right side of your screen, tap on settings, and once you're in there, go to display and brightness, then turn down your brightness to a level that suits you. A bonus point here, unlike most devices with screens, the Portal has a light bar and turning it off bumps up the longevity of the device battery. Talking of the device battery, the PlayStation Portal only shows the battery bars, and this got me thinking there had to be a way to see the battery percentage, and after doing my digging, by simply powering off your Portal and plugging in a charging cable, you'll be able to see the battery percentage, and when the screen goes dark, you can press the power button to see how much juice has gone in before powering on. Speaking of powering on your Portal, once it's on, there's a couple of ways you can log in. The most obvious being pressing the PlayStation button as it says on the screen, and only recently I learned you can also log in by tapping the PlayStation logo in the middle of the screen. Speaking of the screen, just like your phone, a screen protector goes a long way in ensuring it stays crack-free, which ultimately contributes to a better gaming experience. In case you're wondering how much one costs, they're quite cost effective, and for just 16 Australian dollars, you get a pack that contains 3 screen protectors. If you guys are keen, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Moving along, another tip that will improve your overall user experience with the Portal is enabling additional haptic feedback. If you're like me and enjoy the feedback you get when navigating through the Portal interface, by simply going to settings, clicking on accessibility, then scrolling down to controllers, after which you'll find a sub-menu that says haptic feedback during console navigation, and all you gotta do is enable it and it opens you up to a world of different haptic sensations while navigating the screen. To bring this closer home, it's the same feeling you get if you've enabled haptic sounds on your phone. Another issue that faces most PlayStation Portal users is stream buffering, and while for the most part this is usually due to poor internet, this trick has proven to work some magic when it comes to stream buffering. And to put that into context, while playing a game and the annoying screen buffering continuously interrupts your gameplay, pause the game, then swipe over to the control center. From there, click on disconnect, then disable, put the connected PS5 in rest mode, then click on disconnect once again. In case you're wondering how it works, it basically refreshes the connection between your console and the PS5, and by pressing X, it reconnects your console and your stream will be a lot smoother. Moving along, I'm guessing by now you know the PlayStation Portal doesn't support media consumption or browsing the internet, but being the nosy person I am, I knew there was a workaround this, and by far the best of all methods is the one which allows you to browse the internet and play at the same time. To do this, go to messages in the game base and send any of your PlayStation friends a link with whichever stream you want, whether it's Netflix, Prime, the choice is yours, but for the purpose of this video, we'll use youtube.com. As you can see, I sent youtube.com to my friend, and all I need to do is click on the link and it will open up a browser with YouTube on it. Something to note though, you can't watch the video in full screen, and the most you can do is zoom in and out using the right and left thumbsticks. In saying that, the few things you can do with the browser is minimize it by pressing the square button and start to pin it to whichever side you want. From there, to complete the browsing and playing experience, simply launch a game of your choice, and just like that you'll have YouTube running on one side and your game on the other. This would be ideal especially when trying to pass a tough stage in a game, as you can have the tutorial taking you through the steps on YouTube while you play the game in a separate window. Now, you might think that's it when it comes to the PlayStation Portal bag of tricks, but it's still got a few more tricks up its sleeve, and starting with power savings, all you've got to do is go to System Software, then scroll down to Power, and it will open up a drop-down menu. On the first one, you want to set it to about 4 hours during media playback and 20 minutes while playing games. Then for features available in rest mode, you want to make sure power supply to the USB ports is set to always, and connection to the internet and turning on PS5 from network are enabled. Finally, set the time controllers should turn off in the event they are not being used to 10 minutes. These settings will guarantee you efficient power saving. The other trick up its sleeve is wireless headset support, and for those who might have forgotten, upon release a few months ago, you couldn't connect other Bluetooth devices apart from the Pulse Elite headset or the Pulse Explore earbuds, because they are the only devices which support PlayStation Link. Fast forward 7 months later, now you can connect using a wireless headset adapter like this one. All you've got to do is ensure you have your headset as the output device in the sound settings. In case you want to use the smaller brother in the name of earpods, there's also a workaround. By getting this Bluetooth dongle, you'll be set, and once connected to your Portal, Enter your respective earpods into pairing mode, press the button on the back of the dongle for a few seconds and you'll be good to go. Well, there you have it peeps, I finally emptied my PlayStation Portal bag of tricks, and if there's anything I left out, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share and click the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. Here's another video detailing everything you need to know about the PlayStation Portal. Until then, people of the internet, I'm signing out. See you on the next one.